Hello, Super Robot fans, and welcome back to this entry into the archives. My name is Austin. I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. Let's get back to some Super Robot Wars Alpha. We're going to be picking up on scenario 9, He Who Calls Forth the Winds. I feel like I spent like a half hour reading the plot summary. A lot's about to happen. I will do my best to cover it, but I suspect I might miss some this time. I started trying to write some notes on it, and then I was like just rephrasing all of it, so I figured, yeah, let's just send. Interesting that I have funds left. Usually I spend those ahead of time. Okay. Let's take a look at our setup and refamiliarize myself with where things are here. I think it's possible we're saving money just because all of our points into the Grungust. Oh no, we can still invest things here. Maybe I just didn't spend after last time and I forgot. Okay, well. We need to spend it at some point. I am still operating under the premise that we are going to get a custom bonus at the end of this. So I think that's fine. I know I've been toying around. We've talked a little bit on stream about whether or not I should do a no upgrades run. And it feels like we're kind of doing that here because I'm just putting all my money into the Grungust. It's like not that dissimilar, and it's not like we're actually using the Grungust all that much. Not for like lack of trying though, like it is good. I wonder what those Fs are next to them. I don't know. I don't need to know. I'm just trying to wonder out loud. Well, I'll be happy to figure it out. Okay. Okay, I think that's fine. Let's rock. Okay. So we ended I think it was the last time. If it wasn't last time, it was two scenarios ago. With the premise that we were going to like actually check out the more information about the Grungust. We were sent to actually get that tested out some more, and we are hitting the like narrative arc point where the hero refuses the call. So Brooklyn is like apprehensive about piloting the Grungust now, but he's talking to Bright, and Bright not so subtly alludes to another pilot that functions similar to how Brooklyn does with his psychic powers, that he also had the same like refusal to the call. That pilot being Amuro, if you don't know Gundam. But it feels like we are aligning ourselves a lot more with the kind of special that I was looking for, that it's like a lot of people could be that you're like sort of handed vague powers more than he's like a singular savior for this robot, at least right now. So here's an interesting character. This guy's name is Shu. You all probably know him better than I do, but I recognize him as just the most obnoxious of bosses from the complete box. So it's wild to see him here in the context of what seems like so far an ally. This man's name is, I believe, Robert H. Omiya. He is a scientist who's working with SRX. Shu is also in charge of part of the SRX program. He's like monitoring it, kind of. But he explains to Brooklyn some of how the circumstances of him getting to pilot the Grungust took place. Obviously, the greatest concern is just like why he's the one piloting it. Like, was he chosen deliberately? And I like that the game gives the like plot enough space to ask about the ramifications of that, because I said that, I think I've mentioned that a couple times. At the very least, it's one of the questions that I have to ask about a lot of these games, where to me, the plot is kind of like layered on top of the gameplay. That there's a lot of like long-term consequences or like applied logic that when thought out with the rest of the plot, like either are not addressed or don't make sense. But you know, the question is then, if implicitly right now, if Brooklyn was chosen, like the Grungust got there by a plane crash, like what does that mean? Like, are these people trustworthy? Why was he picked then, and why was such a violent way? And Robert and Shu are debating that now. And from the translation I'm reading, it seems like there's some amount of apprehensiveness regarding Shu and his choice, that like maybe he did crash the plane. He says he didn't, but like, I don't know. But that Shu is like the most interested in the T system, which is what was in the Grungus that like awakened Brooklyn's latent psychic powers. Awakened / amplified them too. So it does feel very similar to how new types work, that like, you know, the Gundam did the same thing, that it sort of like drives the pilot to always be performing at 110%. Because we're a super, I feel like we're not going to have to try and like deal with the consequences of that quite as much as we do with Amuro in his original series. But maybe this story continues to impress me, so quite possible we're going to talk about it. What else do we got? We are sent back to deal with Ingram, so he's showing back up again. I'm glad we're following up on one of the characters, but I also like that we're only following up on one of the characters, not all of them at the same time. Like, we are allowed to, similar to how we did with Hayato, like have a split like set of characters. Is there anything else important with that conversation? I'll skim it and make sure that I don't miss anything. I guess here we'll use this to pivot into this conversation, because the game kind of does too. So all that alien technology is kind of at the heart of all of our conflicts right now. That was I don't remember what his position is, but his name is Henkin. He's from Zeta Gundam. And our group is now coming to realize that the Titans are planning, are like, rather than just planning, but are actively engaging a coup. Which spells a lot of problems. Like just a coup of a military is, you know, particularly threatening when they are a highly funded, specially armed force. So that like it's going to put people in jeopardy. The Federation government with whom they are attached is like one of the two major like social political powers right now. So a military coup happening there is like going to cause a lot of problems. They are also doing so in a way that is leaving sort of like a large vacuum in many places, where one of the goals, it seems, is for the Xeon faction to come in and have to fight the SDF, the people who are specifically designed to be guarding the alien technology, because that is what ultimately the Titans are like trying to shoot for. So it sounds, so maybe I as I said a couple times with this translation, maybe I'm reading this wrong, or maybe it's just like not being communicated through translation. But it seems like the Titans and the Xeon are sort of manipulating each other a little bit more, all while everyone's trying to like gun for the alien tech. Speaking of alien tech, I hope this man's a familiar face to you, because we just got one of my favorite characters from this, one of your original characters from this series. Masaki in the Cy-basted is finally a part of this game. I'm really surprised we're getting him so early. That feels, you know, if he's here, I hope he doesn't stay. Like maybe he'll just be like a temporary, because the Cy-basted is Cy-basted. Though one of the reasons it's busted is its map attack, but the like activation, what just happened here, prevents it from being able to use its map attack. Its prana converter was damaged. At some point, I don't think it's happened yet, but at some point we are going to hold that thought and talk about that once we get into some gameplay. Let's see who we get to deploy. We have 11 positions left. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, we each get to deploy everybody? Okay. I wish I knew what the map was going to look like so I could actually make intelligent choices about where these characters were going, but that's fine. Oh man, these sprites look so nice on this map. This is just like so pleasing to look at, I think. Okay, we'll hold plot thoughts for a minute, and then let's figure out what's going on over here. We have these same Campbellians again. And we've got Garuda in the like eyeball battleship again. No, he's just controllable, but like yeah, maybe like I said, maybe he won't stay around. Also, apologies, you might see that pop up down the bottom left-hand corner a lot. I don't know what's going on right now, but my computer does not like my controller. Okay. We've got a mixed defender again. 115 mobility is not bad. 1300 armor is, I think, pretty decent. Like, well, okay, no, the Messenger is really tanky. Is that true in this game? Maybe I'm. Hold on. Maybe I'm mistaken. Okay, never mind. I apologize. I think that's maybe a holdover from some other games. I was gonna say I'm surprised because I think of the Cybuster as being more dodgy than tanky. But okay, I guess it is on the tankier side. It's more defensive than most real robots, but it is scaled more towards a real robot, which tracks. Like, that's what it's kind of supposed to be. It is one of the, I believe the term is Masao Kishin. I think that's where the name of those games comes from. Or it translated to Elemental Lord. I believe that he is like the Lord of Wind. I say that because I think like when I think of a wind-based character, I think of him as being particularly dodgy. It is 8 movement, and it's not even in the like fly. It's not even in the jet mode yet, so that's rather good. We're at what? Wow, 200. We're at 309 dodge and 304 hit with a focus. Yeah, we're probably not gonna take hits a lot. What else? Yeah, so we are without some of our best attacks, but Akashic Buster is, you know, I think this is cheaper than it normally is. I think you usually get like 1 or 2 of those, where we get 4 of them right now. But we are definitely a mixed attacker. I know this is 1 range, but because we have 8 move and we're going to see we actually have more move than that, we'll probably end up using this a little bit. And Masaki is better at melee anyway. In the meantime, when we don't have the map attack. And Haifa Familia. Okay, I don't recognize the names of these attacks enough. Sorry. And then here we can turn into an airplane. I guess it's more like a bird. Yeah. I mean it's called the Cybird, but like it doesn't have to look like it. But yeah, it's the like mobile armor version. We get 10 mobility for it, and we get +1 movement. I was expecting a little bit more. I think sometimes it goes up 2, but Masaki also doesn't have any abilities really. He's got Sword Cut, which in this form we don't have. In the other form we do. And these are the same attacks we had before. Okay. Maybe they nerfed him a if he's going to do well, he's going to be doing well because of his stats. He also has a 6 range attack, which is also just like good. Okay. I'll get I guess there's not really much to figure out. We're just going to be moving forward. Hold on, let me make sure I get people into the battleship correctly first. And then we can send. This is going to be really awkward, too, because there's not really a lot of landmass, so we're probably going to end up fighting over the water some. We can... Does the Death Scythe have... No, the Death Scythe has a B in water here. What were we... Oh, was it... I think it's W, where the Death Scythe has an A. The Death Scythe has an A in water. The 2 questions I'm asking right now are the Gundam Mark II and the Death Scythe, whether those should go in the Argama or not, and we can send them forward through it. But these Rick Diases probably don't need to be in it right now. They can move farther without going to the battleship. We also should have probably switched to the Getter to the second form, but that's okay. I think we are far enough away. Okay, there's 2 spaces between that and the Rick Dias. Someone's got to have a scan here, right? That I didn't use already. No, you don't, because you don't have sub-pilots. That's self-destruct. That's not what we want. Who's got a scan? That's also self-destruct. You don't have one. Okay, well, shame on me then. I wanted to check these 2. Are Kuro and Shiro available here? No, okay. Masaki's cats are not sub-pilots. Never mind. Well, what I was going to try and count was how far the Gadu Musu Garamus, how far it could go. But, okay, that red tile is 1, 2, 3 away. It could have a 3-range post-movement attack. I'm just trying to figure out whether I want to, like, risk the Matthews, and I don't think we were going to. I think that should be safe. European water, right? Yeah. It's also, oh man, it's losing so much movement because it starts in the forest. Yeah, we're here is like, right, if I knew, like I said, if I knew where we were deploying, we could have put all of our flyers forward, knowing that we were going to just toss all of our, like, foot units back in the battleship. I'm probably going to balk every time I see that Excel's 10 instead of 5. Okay. Yeah, we'll put the boss Borat in the battleship, and then we can, yeah, we can jump everyone over at least onto this landmass next turn. That will, like, get us something done. That's probably fine. And I guess here, we're going to get close and see what combat looks like now to see whether putting the focus on preemptively is going to be worthwhile or not. We don't need it for this like combat we can do on player phase, but that's worth it to me. Yeah, we get 8 of these a map, but that's worth it to me to drop that to 0% even when adjacent. Okay, let's see how sick the Cy-buster looks. These animations have blown me away so far, so I'm assuming this is going to look really good. Long loading screen. I forgot those cats could talk. I mean, like, I guess they were in the cutscene. I just figured that he could hear them, but it seems like we didn't have the, like, signifiers around them that those were, like, internal to his head. They might just, like, actually be able to talk. I figure he's psychic, but maybe that's not the case. He doesn't have the psychic ability. Okay, right, yeah, so here's another problem that our group is having. If the Titans perform their coup, then everybody on the team right now is going to be branded as a traitor. Presumably, because why would they want them to, like, stay around? Huh, okay. A couple people could have attacked and they did not. That was weird. What are we getting? Oh, sick. Ingram's here. Okay, cool. Yeah, he checks out the Cy-buster, and at the very least, the cats on the Cy-buster are, like, can tell that they're being, like, probed by him. He is giving the sense that he is maybe a bit malicious, but is helping us now. He's expecting them. He was expecting where's the word? I wrote it down here somewhere. It was a term that I had not heard before, but I'm assuming it's probably from Asaukishin. Not Garuda. I'm trying to scan for a G really quick. But it's the name of the generics that are from that world, and we're going to see them in a second. That's why I gotta figure out how to take better notes for this game. Okay, well, I'll check out. I'll take a look at it when we see some more attack animations. But he's scanning this to see what it is, and he whatever that scan does demonstrated to him that it was one of the Masao Kishin instead of just like a regular a regular robot that anyone could have. Yeah, we can put the ball forward, that's fine. I'm still assuming that we are probably not getting to keep Ingram. Based on the way, like, I believe the phrase that the translation has used is that he'll help us for now, which is like very anime for like temporary truce. I feel like I'm willing to be a little bit more risky. I don't remember this game being particularly punishing with combat yet. That a lot of the ways this game feels penalizing are like we've had a lot of water maps. It's been really hard to move around on these. Movement definitely feels not movement tiles necessarily, while good also. Just like the ability to move around in spaces feels like it's super at a premium in the early game. I don't mind that. Like, that's not a bad thing. I'm curious whether that will persist into late game, where we're gonna have to do a lot of like, you know, managing our movement. If so, I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it's like one of my biggest complaints with these games is that they like even in games I complain about R not having the greatest of maps, but now comparatively it has pretty decent maps, I think. But so many of the like puzzles of them have been reduced to basically non-existent because the vast majority of units are flyers. Just like there's way more flyers than not in the game, and pretty much all of the best units are also flying. So, like, what am I supposed to do? Not fly? What else we got? Oh yeah, but we do seem to be centralizing around the alien technology. And I like that for a couple of reasons. I am pro that choice in the face of a world where like that kind of I think I said before that it would feel really weird if no one addressed the fact that there are, you know, parts of your history that are like dramatically altered from what you know them to be. And like no one is trying to explore that at all. I don't think we want the Grungus to be in combat here. It's like I'm thinking of the Hawk as a very temporary means, and it is mostly designed to get us from one place to another. It's mostly designed to get us from one place to another. Or I feel like there was a time where we needed to use its air-based attacks for something. But it has combat. It has combat in case we need it, but it's really mostly just trying to get us into the position to use the combat from the default form. That's how I'm interpreting it right now. I think we're out of turns. Oh no, we super aren't. Yeah, we'll send the Methus into the group. I'm hoping we can bait one or two of them with that maneuver and like pull them down to the right. Though none of them are like, yeah. So they aren't like really post movement attacking unless they seem to be one range only. I guess we could check now. But what I'm hoping is going to happen is one of them is going to like head down to like that angle between Ingram and the Death Scythe. It looks like they seem comfortable staying here. Hold on, I don't think we've seen the spark yet. Maybe we have. But I believe it's what I described as the enemy phase version of what the yo-yos are for player phase. Yeah, so I really like that we're focusing on this alien technology, because if you're a large-scale institution and you've been told you're not supposed to care about it, that usually should tell you that you should care about it. And a lot of these spaces are like massive honking power sinks. For I guess I started that sentence really confidently, but I realized I ran out of a word for it. But you know, we've had a number of these groups be questioned about their involvement, like the Titans most especially, seeing as their sort of like job is to neutralize Xeon forces, so that like when they're showing up, why are they not participating? Are they unable to dedicate resources to it? And like on one hand, they present that they're like, oh yeah, no, we're really poorly funded because we're a special forces troop, but the Federation was able to like, you know, supply them really heavily while they were being established, and they said they didn't have money to do other things, and partially because of that establishment, and we know how much money they needed to spend to reestablish the world afterwards. So like something is at odds there. And like obviously if you know the plot of Gundam, you know that the Titans are villains for Zeta. So like they need to be up to something nefarious. What do you got? I don't know what that said. Was that like a turn prompt? Am I missing that there's missing where the objectives are going? Okay. No. Okay. Cool. The way that popped up was like him counting how many turns we had left for something. And maybe he wasn't, I just didn't realize. Okay, we can definitely kill all of them this turn. If we can help it, I would like to have Ingram see combat with the Garuda. Not because I can just tell you anyway, but there is like a special dialogue prompt between them that does give us that Ingram knows a little bit more than he like maybe should / people would expect. Emma probably isn't going to get a lot out of that kill, so I don't think we need to worry about that. It's a shame that her combat isn't a bit better given the level increase. Like 70-40 is pretty hunkin' miserable. Yeah, okay. What? I don't remember. Because I record these in blocks, I don't remember who has what. I guess I can do this. This is also, that's like nice and convenient. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, you're good, my guy, I guess. I guess let's attack. We should attack here first, because I don't want to give him kills if we can help, because I don't think we keep him. Yeah, so I should have attacked with him before the Death Scythe. That's fine. Camille is still kind of potent. I don't know if how long term we're going to be using Gundam pilots. At least Quattro is good in this game, so it seems possible. I do think these two are being held back by their units, though. Especially because you can compare them pretty favorably against Emma. I guess oh no, hold on, sorry. That doesn't mean as much as I was going to try and insinuate that it does. I mean, they do compare favorably against Emma. But like all of the Gundam pilots could still just like have like dirt poor stats anyway. Did you get a focus yet? Do you have anything other than Flash? No. Good gracious. Okay, one of these needs to go to Brooklyn. We need to get him some more levels. We're at plus 40 also, and that's all we're doing. Okay, I think this is going to be our call, because that's probably just our best attack. Maybe we do want to use the bird. Hold on, let's check the hawk. If we can help it, we want to be closer to Garuda, just to like save ourselves some time. That's 100%, but that's like a piddly amount of damage. And we're not getting to 10 before that, so okay. Oh, we can actually, hold on. I didn't see this spot. We can be adjacent. Okay, this should be up to 90 then. That's so interesting. that this is adding 20 hit, but it's adding 20 hit somewhere after the equation where we're factoring in like terrain tiles, because this did not go from 70 to 90. The Cy-buster was doing an amount of damage. That means we could chip here. We'll risk the 1%. Yeah, we could chip there and not kill. That will like leave it open for the Grungust. Do we have a cheer? I don't remember. I know we used gain on Emma, but I don't know if we have a cheer yet, or if cheer's even in this game. It doesn't look like we have one. That's fine. Yeah, we want to use this. Okay, great. The Combattler can finish one off. Oh, right. No, good gracious, you got focused. Thank goodness. I forgot how, like, turbo dead we could make these enemies. Right? Because we're standing right here. These things are going to have a bad time. I think this is our call because it's, like, not going to counterattack. I'm never going to get over that. I'm never going to get over that. Do you not have attacks, or does it have to be one? Oh, it has to be one range. Okay. So if we go here, we can still combine from here. That's pretty good. So let's see if we can save. Also, I'm sorry, is this called the Battle Marine? Marin? Battle Marine. Surely that's the Battle Marine. Oh, but it can go in the water. Okay, does it have an A in the water? It has a B in the water. Fascinating. We took a little chip, but that doesn't matter. But I think we can come in here and we can like attack that post movement, but we kind of want to chip it one more time first. I don't think we can do 50. I don't think we can. I don't think we can do 1100. It's 2 to 4 range. It's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, actually, so no one here can just attack it safely. Can we turn into getter jetters? This is pretty safe. The trouble is that's also where the Marine needs to go. Oh no, it doesn't need to. Okay, we can be over land here. I was thinking that we could also try and kill this one first. And that would like free up a space where the Getter 2 could move in. Or the Getter Liger could move like just north instead. But I think this is fine. I don't think this will kill. Yeah, that seems fine. Okay, let's see if we can do some like quick math. We're at 104 morale. We have 154 damage. So that's 258 divided by 200 is 125, 129, 1.29 multiplied by 1,000. So we're doing what, a quarter more, so 125 points of damage, or 1,200. Sorry, no, that's not true. 1,250 points of damage. And we were looking at 1,000 and 2059. This is 1,500, and we are looking at. Oh, her melee. I should have assumed that her melee stat wasn't going to be atrocious. Okay, so we probably actually can't get this kill. We're probably going to chip into 10 for that. Okay, can one of the other getters come in here? Can the Marine go behind it? What's its movement? 5. 1, 2, 3. No, it can't come behind it. Okay, so maybe it's just going to be healing this turn then. That's fine. So we could go here with the getter 1, attack here for another approximately 400 points of damage, and then have one of the smaller ones follow up, and then we can recombine to the getter 3 here in the water. That seems good. Yeah, I'm pro that. And I don't know how the combining will work, but we might even be able to squeeze off an attack on this guy. I don't remember how it is in this game. I assume we probably will just be allowed to combine and not attack, right? Yeah. Okay. Then we're gonna save the Marine for... Oh, wait, no, hold on. We've now cleared it out of the way. Oh, that's still more HP than the getters we're doing. Okay, so never mind. I was gonna say, I didn't think about the fact that I was gonna clear those. So we now have an ability to get in there and attack. We could do that with one of the other pilots still, though. We need, like, roughly 200... we need more than 250 combined morale and damage stat. Oh, wait, that's actually not true. That was only be multiplied by 1,000 damage. Let's check this again. So you're going to be using your one range damage. So we're looking at 237. So that's getting divided by 200 is 115, 118-ish. So 1.18 times 1,500 is what? Like 300, 250 points of damage more. So that's 1,700 power up against the like 1,400 that Hayato was doing. So, you know, maybe the Marine can handle it. The actual damage from the weapon is like doing a lot more. I say that all the time. I just like didn't think of it here. But we do have like slightly more powerful weapons, like the Edekutoro, the Edekutoro, Electro Dato. We'll talk with it. Maybe it'll make more sense. Thrill as I struggle with Japanese. Vicatori. Okay. Don't start singing. No one's gonna want to hear that. I guess I. Oh, dart. Dot ball. What? That was so much damage. I swear crits must do a lot more. Crits either do a lot more damage or they're applying at a better point in the action. That was range. Okay, we were 110. We were at 242, which was close to what Hayato was doing. Yeah, so what? We were at like roughly a quarter, like 1/4 more damage. Plus then again another 25% damage. Okay, so that probably tracks. This is going to be pretty piddly. We are just hitting basically even on melee here. So this is 1,600, or we can go for 234. So 115, 118. So take this 2 times. These actually end up being close to the same amount of damage because of how unevenly distributed his melee and his range stats are. So like this is actually probably a reasonable attack. It's just that might kill us. With a 30% chance to get hit, do I want to risk that? Okay, let's see if we can use this tech. So when you apply a spirit in the combined form, we can't drat. I was gonna say, when you combine a spirit in the combined form, it only applies to the main pilot. But that is a way we can pass off spirits that, like the main pilots of combined units, wouldn't normally have, that they could give them from other pilots. So I was looking to see if we can get a focus on here. So, as I say that, I think I may have saw a flash. I just didn't think about it. We do. Okay, yeah, so we can use a flash here from Chizuru. And, like, that's now on Ryoma? Is that? No, that's not true. That's the Getter pilot. I don't remember his name. But now we separate. And what? Does it work differently here where the pilot who casts it gets it? Oh man, I was so excited for that tag. That's how it worked in Complete Box 3. Oh, okay. That is different. That the pilot who casts it is the one that gets it in this game. Okay, well, I'm glad we tested that. So this is pretty free then, and we're still at diagonal, so I believe we'll still get to combine. I say that I could have just looked at it. I just didn't think to look what the other command was. Let's see. All right, yeah. This game really likes its like missile dropping animations. Okay, that was like reasonable damage. Yeah. So in that cutscene before, we were talking to Henkin, who is with the Federation. But he is sympathetic towards what we are saying and recognizes that the Titans are doing exactly what we've like called them on. And sees the potential for a pretty massive war to take place. Is he on his way? Let's see. Yes, Henkin is on his way. Oh right, yeah. Sorry, actually, all of this is going to be taking place at Jaburo, of like very noteworthy location for the Gundam series. It is also where the Zeta Gundam series sends people off into space. So I think it's fair to assume that we might go into space around when we start dealing with this like Titan conflict, just based on the plot of how Zeta Gundam goes. We have not really done anything in space yet. We've sort of like, we've been very terrestrial because of the nature of how we're thinking about the aliens and like how secretive that is. But I'd be interested in hitting up space. I'm sure. I kind of like the way we've divided the like more, generally speaking, more normal things to the Earth. I'm hoping we get some like slightly weirder stuff going on in space, but we'll see. I feel like something's gonna need to get isekai'd in here at some point. I don't know what though. I don't remember what the like whole roster for this game is. Isn't there a Macross in this? Meeting the Macross pilots in space, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of alien. Yeah, there's definitely like alien stuff in Macross. That feels fitting. I don't think we're gonna be following up on the Gunbuster stuff quite yet. Still assuming that the battleship that fell was the Gunbuster. Oh, Gunbuster battleship. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to really enjoy this game playing it for efficiency's sake at a later date too, just because of all the little tech you can do, like we just did on this turn with the separated units. I know one person sounded off in the comments before that was just like not what they did at all. I would love to hear anybody else's experience, whether they just sort of ignored that feature or just went, huh, well that's neat. I'm glad we can do that because that's like part of the canon, but like didn't really use it very much. Oh, there we go. Okay. Thank goodness. Yeah, okay. I see why we were questioning the Cy-buster, because those look I could see where the design similarities are happening there with them. I wonder if they are uniques or it's just that they were like specific. Are they OG units that are designed to look like the Cy-buster to make that comparison? Or was a series that had these insects that look kind of similar chosen already? Or is it just the map sprites? We'll see in a second. They look a little bit less similar here. I could see where someone would still like want to ask the question. I could see some like similar design principles where someone is like, it's probably worthwhile asking the question, like, is the Cybuster, you know, another iteration of these kinds of things? They are using what I have heard called the Konami orb in their design. Very old school, like very old to middle school Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh, you know what? My translation divides commentary, whether it happens in cutscene or in game, into like different kind of segments, and those conversations happened. The conversations about what the Cybuster was, the name I've been looking for this whole time, happens during the battle because it happened right then. So I just was looking in the wrong place. We'll talk through the turn first. So the Mazinger can chip here. It has 2,500 HP. I don't think we're going to kill it. I don't remember if Mushroom Power has an activation point. I think it does, because I think I remember like crediting this game with like giving us a like visual signifier when a ability turns on by changing its color. We're gonna get boss back out of here. That was unfortunately sort of a waste of a turn. I don't know when they were gonna show up or where they were gonna show up. We could have had someone else sitting there ready for like real combat. Okay, this is pretty good for Ingram. I do want Ingram to move as close to Garuda as possible, just so we can like see that dialogue that I mentioned. Also, this is silly. We should. I was gonna say we should go here because this will probably keep us in the water. That's out of the water, but it doesn't matter anyway because we just saw that we can't hit them right now. We could just get her beam. I don't mind that. Okay. I guess let's first check what the Cybuster's combat against them is. Okay, we'll focus here again. I think Roberto and Apoli are not going to do anything this round. Then we attack here. Oh, it's almost been an hour? How has it almost been an hour? Okay, that's fine. That set these pretty low. So I do want to also try and test here. Or I want to check here if we can drop enemies to somewhat low stats, and then we could save those for our units we can split up. Okay, yeah, so we don't have Majin Power yet. That's all the damage we did. Just we get some like extra actions out. So like I was gonna start using the getter, but I paused because we can still do this turn. And I think if we can clear some of these front ones out, we can have the getter clear up some of these back enemies. I would like Emma to get some more kills. I doubt this is going to give a lot of XP, but let's find out. She is going to be kind of taking up room here, so let's move her a little off center, and we have the beam. Oh, beam pistol. Yeah, let's see if this kills. Intermission's on. That's fine. Nope. Okay. Took a second. But yes, I found the word arrowgate. Arrowgators are the word. That's the phrase I was looking for. And they're also looking for. Oh, that didn't kill. That's unfortunate. Okay. Well, we're definitely not gonna get a lot of XP then. They seem to also be looking for information on the Cybuster. Masaki also acknowledges that there is trouble going on here, but Ingram does let us know. Are we gonna? You know what? Let's try this. If this hits Masaki, whatever. I don't think it's gonna kill him. I should have realized we had a map attack on us and bullseyed this first, and then move Masaki in afterwards. But this will change also who the getter can hit. Great. Cool. Okay, that's fine. Well worth that action. That's my bad. I gotta remember we can like. I gotta remember that map attacks will also like just do something in this game. But yeah, Masaki acknowledges that there's like trouble brewing on the surface. But Ingram also tells us that the Cy-buster is like the peak of what they've been calling alien technology. That it functions. It functions basically. Similar to what it sounds like he recognizes as some of the tech from the battleship that crashed. And I don't think it seems like there's no reason for us to be surprised that he knows about that kind of technology because he is part of DC. It seems like he was probably just hired by Ian Zoldyck, who was like one of the first people that was like researching it. So that tracks to me. But I think as much as I want to complain about the like show don't tell, I do think in this case we're doing a good job of telling because we're telling people's motivations. Oh no, hold on. I want to see what happens here. If this ends up wasting the turn, that's fine. But if we can move here and we can combine here. Oh, darn. Okay, still combining where the head was. I was really hoping we could just like force it forward some extra movement through like chaining combines in a weird way. Okay, I think all of these are equally as good as each other. We're kind of like stuck with who we're really the reverse of stuck. We don't have anybody. There's no one left that is stuck. That is like only going to hit one or two enemies. I guess hold on. Let's split up again. I did not check here. Yeah. So like this attack is probably pretty safe. Let's do that. Oh, that was just lethal. Okay. And then the rest of these don't have. Yeah. No one's been hurt that bad because this game is not yet ready to punish me for anything. I guess let's attack back here. This is fine. Let's just start. We'll start committing to some actions. Yeah, and then a getter can clean that one up. How about who do we want to end on? We probably want to still end on getter 3. So we can start with Ryoma. That's fine. Yeah. And like I don't. Yeah. We are like always out of position with the getter, so we can't actually use its third form. But I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. As long as we're able to recombine at the end of the day, at the end of the turn, I think that's fine. Yeah, that's perfect. I'm hoping we can get a getter in here to attack this way, and then we can put yeah, so like get Musashi in here and then get Hayato in here to attack and kill this one we've just chipped, and then put Musashi in here and then recombine. So in order to do that, we need to kill here first, which I suppose we could try to accomplish. Yeah, let's see what Quattro's doing. Honestly, we kind of want to take a hit so we can like get our healers to actually have a job. That was easy. Then you come in here. The fact that they only have a 1 range post movement is a bit butts. So we aren't gonna. Yeah, we won't actually get to hurt the one for Ingram first. Oh wait, no, that's fine. We don't want him to get kills. We don't want him getting kills. I was like, in my head, I had like flagged him as like, we need to be concerned over his kills, which normally means make sure you give him the experience, but in this case, that was not true. And you recombine. And we actually, because of what we did, we can push him even 1 step forward. And depending on these things are pretty soft. Yeah, we can probably just give this to the core booster. No reason not to be pushed up a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. And then I guess we have the Aphrodite attack one. Oh man, her accuracy is so bad though. Actually, yeah, hold on, because I want to learn about this game a little better. Is it that her accuracy is bad, or is it that the Aphrodite is bad, or both? Our accuracy is 100, 210, 218. And that's 153 accuracy and 65 mobility. I think it's a mix of both. I think it's a mix of both. All right, this isn't Fall. This is Rekova. So Rekova actually is gonna. That could be like a reasonable combat. We might do that. Who else is like? Yeah, what else can we give her? We can give her plus 80. Okay. The Mazinger here really feels like it's leaning heavily on bullseyes, which is like also a claim that I made in R. But it seems definitely way more true here. Okay. This is fine. I don't even need to move the Methus. I guess if they're not counterattacking, oh, they are counterattacking. Well, let's just flash this, right? Because if this lands, this is clutch. Oh, excellent. So good. I feel like I'm getting rewarded for all of those like really stupid misses I've gotten playing this game. Okay, I think that's wraps things up for us. Yeah. This is feeling good though. Like the enemies aren't hard, but their positioning is still at least asking us enough that I like need to plan my turns meaningfully, I think. Some more? Sure, that's fine. These things are easy. We'll just block there. We've already seen this thing attack before. You are, yeah, they all just charge the battleship still. Okay, that's a nice and easy kill. We can clean up with somebody. Whoever we want to give that to. Oh yeah, we'll try and give that to Emma to see if we can like see what XP it looks like for her. Now that she is overleveled. Oh, you went to just the worst position to stay alive there. Never mind, Ingram's just gonna kill it anyway. Okay. You know, we haven't gotten a lot of chance to look at Ingram's attacks, so we can do that. Do note that one of our attacks on his unit does say T-Link, which is the same system that the Grungust. They told us that Grungust had. Which is not surprising, right? Because we psychically sensed him earlier, and we saw again. Oh no, sorry. We did psychically. Brooklyn psychically sensed Shu earlier too. But we do sort of have to like we're pulling a little bit of extra diegetic information. Ooh, that buzzing is not pleasant. Sorry about that. But we are pulling some extra diegetic information from the like descriptions for attacks, which is fine. I think that's acceptable. Okay. We could give a kill to Duo if we wanted to. Like, have Duo attack here, have Emma attack here. Yeah, if we're attacking with the clay bazookas, that's like a reasonable amount of damage. And she doesn't need to like get a boss kill. Preferably, we can give that to the Combattler this time. I should have said this earlier. I forgot to. I apologize. But the fact that I haven't said something about it, there is no expert point on this map. Cool. All right, what are we looking at for double EXP? I hope I'm curious why the Arrogators are here. 122 is a lot better than I was going to expect for her being like 3 or 4 levels up. Yeah, we can give this to Duo. I don't mind using him. He's fine. I can't decide if I like using a unit in like multiple playthroughs that are happening on the channel at the same time. Though I do feel like I said with W that I'm using Duo in Alpha, so I won't use him there. Yeah, right, yeah. Because the one in W is the Endless Waltz, where this is like the TV version, and because we don't get to see the TV version often. So, okay, yeah. No, that's fine. Some little chip works for me. Yeah, we actively want to get hit for extra morale. We are, I think, 1 point away from Majin Power. I think it's 120 in this game. Maybe it's 130. The map attack is not what we want. So Quattro can just kill one of these. I think that's fine. I don't need him necessarily to move forward. Yeah, that works. I think because all of our like goofiness with the getter, I was gonna say we don't have a lot of morale, but we actually do have a decent amount of it. This can't attack in the air anyway, though, so we're gonna be in getter 1 to help with Garuda. I don't think that he is necessarily the enemy we want to be splitting ourselves up for, though. I think yeah, I don't mind opening with the getter. We can do this 2 turns in a row also. Do we have an Excel on them yet? Because if we do... darn, we do not. Okay, that's fine. You know, we're probably not going to kill anything else, so we may as well do the EXP doublers now. I'm assuming, given how long this has been, this will probably be the end of the stage. And then next turn we can beam Garuda. I don't think he has any regen. No, he doesn't. Oh, right, but he does have potential. And potential was really obnoxious in this game. Yeah, okay. Which is why we're bringing the Combattler in anyway, because we can spin it. We actively want to take a hit here. I guess we'll heal before we're like too far out of position. I still want to use Rekawa more. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot. I both forgot and am glad how potent potential is. It's like a real, actual, serious ability we need to like consider, you know. Someone does still need to kill this bug. You know what? We can give it to Brooklyn. And we can use our newly acquired focus to actually make sure that lands. How refreshing. It's not been hurt at all yet, though. So this will probably kill. If it does, that's fine. Yeah, okay. Disappointment. We should have tested that first before we used the focus, then, obviously. That's fine. This probably will end up wasting an attack from the Garuda, but I think we'll probably be pretty close to killing him next turn. I think. Especially if we can get Ingram involved. He's got... Oh, hold on a second. He's got 8 range. This is so good. Yeah, the HTB cannon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is like roughly here. I think I counted some spaces backwards somewhere in there, but that's fine. Yeah, these two are gonna get to short just as soon as we're ready to like leave again. Yeah, this water map is brutal. It's not like we also. I probably would have a little more fun with this map. Not that I'm not enjoying this. Like this was a good one, I think. But I think it would be like way better if we had enough units that we got to like choose who we were deploying, and then we had to like intentionally toy around with the fact that we were in the water, you know? Okay. We do have some heals on them, so that's fine. That was 2457 we just did. Oh, we still can't see his HP. Okay. I don't think we have a Valor yet at this point. I think we're a little far. I think we're a little off from that. Oh, we also don't have a Fortune. Can this still go to the Getter? I think we maybe want to give this to the Getter instead. Because we have both EXP and money on it. And it's a boss, right? This is probably going to be worth a lot. Does it not tell you on here? That feels incorrect. Oh, no, it's literally right in front of my face. It was the number was just so big I couldn't fathom that was the right number for how early these games was. We'll get 12,000, and then if we fortunate, we'll get 24,000. I think that probably feels worth it. That's not what I want to do. We can focus. And then we can be at 6 range for this attack. Not that we actually could land at this turn, so that focus wasn't actually worthwhile. We'll just do this. This will be fine. Because of my want to, like, get people to spend spirits, I also spend spirits just, like, sort of willy-nilly, which I think is better than the alternative, but... The best version would be just, like, doing it correctly. This is a B in the air. Yeah, okay, I do. Okay, I see. I forgot that all of his attacks would be in the air. Which I'm assuming has been a 10% decrease. So no, this is, like, actually, it'll probably be, like, respectable damage. It's just that we're gonna, like, probably take a beating doing it. I feel like I did not move Ingram far enough, but it's hard for me to estimate spaces here. No, we moved him far enough. We actually even had another space we could have saved, so I did like count that in a wonky way. Let's see what this deck looks like. Yeah, so here Garuda, or here Ingram clocks that Garuda is in control of what my translation is calling the Imperial Army, which is the first time the translation has used that phrase. I don't know if that's supposed to be a different group that I'm not thinking of, or we're just noting that, like, Garuda is not in fact the leader of the Campbellians, but is like a general that's sort of taken over command, which would match how the Titans are doing right now. Also, he just turns into a gun. Is he the gun? Is this unit the gun for the SRX? Because he has a very similar visual design to them. I'm okay with that. That's interesting. I mean, he literally is called Gun in the name, but like with a mecha series, you never know. You never know. Can we kill this turn? Okay, so here's what it'll be. If the Combattler okay, here's what I was gonna say. If the Combattler can't kill, then we can give it to the guy with extra money, and that's fine. I would prefer. I wanted to be on the Combattler because they're sort of behind in levels. That will like actually make their levels worthwhile. Like that'll push them to a level to like really take advantage of all of the destructive power that they have. But historically, the like big attack off the Combattler I have on this channel, in admittedly different games, have just like deeply miscalced. But I also just don't know how much potential does here. I think Bright has trust in this game, right? He does, okay. So don't need to worry about their healing if this doesn't go through. Though we could like, we should heal first in case this does kill. And Rekova can put Flash on just to keep her safe because there's only one attack coming for her. So yeah. Oh, okay. Not as much XP as I was hoping. But I guess, yeah, because they are, as we've just established a couple times, so much lower level. All right, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I don't know what potential is doing here, if it's like cutting it in half or not. Because there's only one level of it, right? It just gets turned on or isn't, or is not turned on. I feel like it's probably going to be a pretty big jump. We did also cross over the halfway point, so maybe it's just like 50% at 50%. I'm hoping we don't get this. A little bit. Those same swirls are still the same. Except for the part where they just didn't finish animating them at the top. It's funny. No, okay, that's fine. Oh, we vastly overkilled them. I did add 20 morale there. So that was 10% more damage. But even 10% less of that was like still killing him through potential. Well, that's fine. I mean, the XP will still be worth it. Yeah, 4 levels. That's sick. Oh, we got 8,000 funds. You get 2,000. You get 2/3 of what their printed value was. Also, I would like to read all of that, but the game just sort of clicked through all of it. That's lame. I did forget to mention this at the top of the episode, but Masaki mentions that he in the destruction of the Piranha Drive notes that they didn't have a whole lot of time in battle. What feels like it's turning into a very common trope for these games. This was such a funny face. I'm pretty sure he's from Gundam, but that was just very silly looking. But he and his cats collapse. So we're gonna take him to the infirmary to get him patched up. At some point. There we go. Yeah, so turns out a couple of things. We found out a couple of kind of invasive things while we were like checking him out for like medical concerns. A, totally healthy, totally fine. He's just whooped. Second, he's 100% an Earthling, despite the fact that his technology is alien, which is also maybe not true, that it's only vaguely alien or it's alien-like. Masaki describes it, or he's about to when he wakes up, presumably. He describes it as more aptly magic rather than science. I'm curious how that's going to interact, because like there's a lot of speculative fiction and science fiction has spilled words over whether or not magic can become science, you know. So I'm curious what distinction what the series is going to make. But the one we've learned so far, and I think this is really interesting, is the Cy-buster is fueled by a source that is very similar to the radiance of human life. We super don't have Gurren Lagann in here, but that's like exactly how spiral power is described. But like we do have like Getter rays in here. That there's like something very like narratively speaking, I like that we are juxtaposing the human and the organic with the like mechanical and the inorganic. I always really like those conversations. I think it ends up saying a lot about like the people involved and like us as a like culture. But I think in addition to what it says particularly about the plot, I think in general I find like anime and video games and like comics and like all of the media that's like considered very like fluffy and useless and a waste of time. I'm always really delighted whenever they like take it upon themselves to very distinctly, but very in their own way, acknowledge the like very core human element of like the want to play or the want to imagine. That, you know, extra diegetically, unapologetically, the lifeblood of many of these robots is the same spark of humanity. So like literally the thing that's like core to this game is just like our want to like imagine things or like want to tell stories about ourselves in ways that are like greater than we are. It always gets me every time. That last conversation I just talked over, we were told that the enemies we were facing were called Arrow-gators, like I said before. And they are responsible for dropping the battleship. Or they're somehow responsible for the battleship that crash landed on Earth. And that the SRX project is designed to counterattack them, and they can't say more. So I can't decide if they're from something, because they don't look familiar to me as any enemies from other series. And like the word Arrow-gator doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not going to look it up to find out. So maybe they're just like original creations? Which honestly I like a little bit less. I was kind of hoping we were going to like jam another series right in the middle of the 1 year war to like try to integrate the conflict. And maybe we still will. Maybe I'm like not recognizing them. I did mention that I thought Macross was A, in this game, and B, used aliens. Maybe these are like the advanced fleet of Macross characters and I just like don't recognize them. We're gonna pause here because this is a route split, but I want to finish talking about the story first. Everyone comments on it seems like people are like more aware of Ingram being shady, or that he's at the very least like kind of imperceptible in how he's behaving, and at that same time they acknowledge that Masaki might also be a spy. The one in particular who does say that is Duo, and then he like comments to himself that like he's really wanting to talk. So yeah, like we were probably right to have some suspicions about him back during the... Was that just during the Giant Robo episode? There was at one point where he was like hanging around his machine and was like probably recording like a log of all of his tasks. That some people were like questioning him and going like, what's up with this guy? Hold on, something seems fishy here. And that tracks with how Wing works. I don't know how much I will like try to think about these shows in the context of their origin. We've been sort of going back and forth about it. I've not called it by this name, but I guess I have been doing this already. But so yeah, okay, yeah. We'll finish. We'll continue with this line of thought. So the fact that you know, Duo a sort of the early parts of Wing, I feel like the pilots were sort of treated like mercenaries for hire. They did these kind of odd jobs, but there was always this like idea of like espionage or like secret information, whether we got to know it or whether it actually really came to anything in that series. It's instead of a monster of the week format, it was a mission of the week format, where I feel like they said the word, it's about the mission so many times. But if we were ever going to pick a character to be a spy or like at least narratively a double agent, Duo tracks to me because like the connectivity of that group of boys is much more loose than some of the other Gundam pilots. And B, he like literally has a robot who's designed to be cloaked, right? Like what's more thief or spy like than a robot that can cloak itself? Oh, right. I forgot to mention this earlier on. We did come here to like do some assessment with the Grungust. I mentioned that's why we were here and that like Shu acknowledged the potency of the T-Link. But there was a little bit more to that, but we can discuss it here. That Brooklyn is performing well beyond like measured expectations. That his combat data that he's bringing back is not only informative, but like not what they were expecting. And as he's being told this information, he is clocking that like maybe he, Ingram, and Shu are gonna like sort of run around in this triangle of like interconnectedness in relationship to this like greater fate plot, trying to deal with psychic powers kind of feeling. And that feels fun. I feel like Ingram, I still think of Ingram as like side to the SRX. So having him representative of a space where I think of there being another main character feels like a good way to shine a light and try to like, you know, I'm pretty sure from comments you all told me that this is like a different, that we're operating under a different timeline here. But it feels like a really easy way to refresh that timeline by giving us an in through a character that wasn't our perspective the previous time they showed up. And then I feel the same thing about Shu. As much as I said he was a villain for the complete box, he was still, in my mind, still really, really associated with Bien Zoldark. And he is here. Not necessarily like a second in command, but Bien was still the like big villain of that game. Of 2 and 3 first, and then Shu was second to him. So then to like see the work with SRX and the legacy that Bien is leaving in his relationship of trying, or in his like research of trying to understand this alien technology, seeing it through Shu first, it doesn't feel like we're doing like mid-boss then final boss. It feels like, again, instead we're getting this from like a different perspective, that there's an amount of legacy to Bien's name here that we are invoking through the absence of his presence directly, but we're still seeing like the sort of like ramifications of them. If this is the level of plot we are hitting when we're actually dealing with the plot, and then going up from here, I think Alpha is probably going to be up among my tops. Though admittedly, W is doing a really good job to climb in the ranks too. I did say I started Super Robot Wars with the games that I was told were probably on the lower side of quality, and it shows that if those were good, it's nice getting to be excited for both the immediacy and the future. Because if this is also how Alpha's starting, we've still got 3 more games to go, and we're not even halfway done this one. Incredible, incredible. Speaking of not halfway done this one, let's figure out what our route splits are. So on one hand, we can go to South Italia. That is going to let us deal more with the Neozeon and the alien technology, which is a plot point that I am more interested in. But we could also go to Jaburo to interact with the Titans and try and stop their coup. At the very least, it sounds like we are sort of like narratively required to be at Jaburo at some point. The translation has said that if we go with Southern Italia, we might miss our rendezvous, which says that we're like still going to end up in Jaburo at some point. And that makes sense based on what I said about Zeta Gundam. But how I'm going to make that decision is instead not through narrative choice, but I'm just going to look at what the expert points are, and whichever set of expert points sound more interesting and thereby more challenging. Sorry, switch those, reverse that. Whichever sound more challenging and thereby more interesting to do is the direction we're going to go. Well, the choice seems pretty obvious. The Southern Italia route not only just has more expert points. That's just gonna like make the game harder. It has 4 rather than Jabiro's 2, but they also seem more interesting. I've complained a bit about the expert points being related to just like picking the right dialogue choice, and the first one of these is sortie stealthily. But if you're asking me to be stealthy in one of these games, I'm curious what that's going to look like. I'm hoping we get like different map placement, similar to how we've had in previous times where we've been asked these choices. But we have 2 boss kills and 1 like get a boss to an HP threshold. The fact that I'm being asked to like not kill a boss but just like get it down to a low HP threshold tells me that's probably going to be, you know, the kind of boss that shows up for story reasons but is like going to retreat and you're maybe not supposed to kill. Very much looking forward to that. Here we cut away to now another group of people. This is Banjo Haran and his butler. And they also seem to be in the know what's going on, which tracks. I'm not surprised that he does. He's like filthy stinking rich, so it feels like he could probably get whatever information he wanted. He's saying that he's also like gearing up to join the fight. He's familiar with the SRX program. He's gonna go talk to Ingram about it. But Garrison, his butler, has told him that like only one of the robots is ready. He also said the beast machines were ready. Are the beast machines the one for Don Cougar? I forgot that if Don Cougar was in this game. We just established on stream that we want to use units that are like premiering in games or like aren't around a lot. So if Don Cougar premieres here, I'm gladly take it. But the thing that's especially interesting to me is that Banjo calls out the fact that the Excellion, the battleship from Gunbuster, they lost contact with it. He knew that there were 10 planets in the solar system. He recognized the enemy that the Gunbuster units were fighting, and that there may have in fact been another enemy. He did the translation has him doing the anime. It could be them. And not actually saying who it was, that's fine. Like in this case, that doesn't matter because like what we're being told here is just that like Banjo is a lot more informed than maybe everybody else is, and he's also a private citizen, which is a little bit what I asked for. I did ask for private citizens to be involved, but I was hoping they were going to be like kind of in the dark rather than just everyone knowing. Though I don't mind having a non-organization just like be familiar with everything that's going on, especially someone like Banjo who is both has the capability of throwing his weight around pretty dramatically and influencing things, and also, from what I understand, the personality where he would be willing to do that. I'm hoping he'll add some good wrinkles to the story. We have some funds to spend, so let's rock that before we head out of here. It won't be particularly hard. Nope, it won't be. I really hope this ends up being worth it. At the very least, it's been worth it for the challenge of just like not having anybody else upgraded. Not that we've really needed it. Like everybody else has been performing so well. I forget so much that we've not upgraded any units that are like really actively getting used. I wonder what happens if there is a custom bonus. I wonder how that works with weapons and if they have them or not when we still have to upgrade weapons individually. Does each one get a custom bonus? The reason I think so is I feel pretty confident that I got them in one of the complete box games, and those ones had single weapon upgrades, and I don't remember what happened there. That'll be a question for a future day. For now, I think we'll end things. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. I'm having a lot of fun with this series. I hope you are too. You're going to have a lot more of it coming up in the future. The next couple time slots where we could have an alpha episode, we're going to because of my schedule, my time away. So we're gonna start like moving through alpha pretty quickly. I suspect we'll probably get through pretty much all of this route split in the like next couple weeks, like the next week or two. So look forward to that. I'm very excited. I feel like maybe we're getting into the part where it's hard now. We're getting definitely harder. That would be good. Good, ideal. More challenges for me. I know these games can make me think, and I'm hungering for it. I'm so excited. And then the plot's also like really picking up. Like I said before, if we can stay at this level of plot and get higher, obviously other than like understanding that we might, barring the case where we need to have like an introductory scenario for a new unit or whatever, I will be super pleased. We're getting like interesting questions, and they are like all the questions I was asking to start, I feel like we're addressing in some way, and that's good writing as far as I am concerned. But that'll wrap things up for me. If you like like I said, if you like what we're doing, there's more coming down the pipe. I am picking up streaming some more, so there's a lot more content to see. We're doing a lot more like talking requesty stuff. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop them down in the comments here or in any video. I will gladly respond to them both about this game or like in making a small video about it if necessary. But before I go, I'm going to start rambling. So thank you all. I will sign off here. Take care. Make me out of the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.